So today we're doing section 4.3. It's all about parallel lines. So our goal for this lesson is to write equations for and to graph parallel lines. So there's really two parts to this lesson. First, we're going to practice writing the equation. Then we're going to practice graphing lines that are parallel to one another. Any questions before we get started? You need to write all of this down. This says the parallel lines are lines that will never intersect. Intersect means to cross. So these are two lines that will never cross one another. The way that you ensure that happens is to have parallel lines that have the same slope. Remember, slope is the change. So when you have parallel lines, they're changing at the same rate. So they will look something like this. They're going up at the same rate, or they're going down at the same rate, or they're both have a slope of 0. They'd be two horizontal lines. So no matter what, in order for the lines to be parallel, to never intersect, they have to have the same slope. Any questions about the information that's on the board?
You write this?
You write all of this in your notes, yes.
I don't know.
Basically what's happening today is you're given an old equation and you're supposed to write a new equation. So the old equation is y equals 4x plus 7. We want a line that's parallel to that line. Parallel lines have the same slope. So the only thing we want from the line that they gave us is the slope. M is the same thing as slope. So just take the M. So my M for my new line is 4. Same slope. Okay? What's my B for my new line?
2.
No. 7 is the B for the old line. What's the new line?
2.
Negative 2. So my equation is y equals 4x minus 2. We're still in that y equals mx plus b. That's not going away anytime soon.
So that's all?
So yes, you take the old m and the new b and you write an equation.
What, so you don't put minus negative 2?
You could put plus negative 2.
This
I
one
better make
sounds
them positive.
You don't want it to be positive, you want it to be negative. So you could put plus and negative or just leave it minus. What are your questions?
This sounds easy.
It's not that bad, yes. Basically at the end you'll have two lines. They should have the same M. They should have different
So
B's.
is this easier than the word probably is?
Yes, this is pretty easy today. As long as you remember that they have the same slope. Yeah. Alright, so in this problem we want to write an equation of the line parallel to y equals negative x plus 2 with a y-intercept of 4. So the important information that I want you to have in your notes is that it's y equals negative x plus 2 and that the new b value is 4. So I need the old m and the new b. Well, b is 4. I can see that right from the directions. What is the m, though? Negative 1. I got that from this equation. When you don't see a number in front of the x, we know there's a 1 there. In this case, it's a negative 1. So, my new equation will be what?
Y equals negative 1 plus 4.
Negative 1x plus 4. Don't forget the x. What are your questions?
I'm ready for my...
What you need in your notes, since it's the same exact directions as number 1, and you already wrote number 1, you should be good. You need y equals 2/5 x minus 4. That's the line we want to be parallel to. But we want a y-intercept of 6 now instead of a y-intercept of negative 4. You forget the b. The old b is not important. The only thing that we want from that old line is the m. So the m is 2/5. Then forget about that line. You don't even need it. All right, what's b? 6. So my equation is what?
Y equals 2/5x minus 6.
Plus 6. The 6 is positive, so you want a plus 6. Raise your hand if you have any questions. All right, this is the last one where we're not graphing.
Yay.
So we will kick it up a notch. If you're starting to feel bored, just hang with me. This is the equation that we want to be parallel to, but we want a y-intercept of 0. So again, once you have that information in your notes, leave a space for the m, leave a space for the b, and then leave a space to write the equation. What is the m? What is the b? 0. So what does my equation look like? Plus 0. Good. Or, can anyone write it in a shorter way? Negative 2x. No plus 0. You can write the plus 0 or not. It is not necessary, though. That is the exact same problem. What are your questions on this? All right, we are going to kick it up a notch for the next 2 examples. Listen very closely on what needs to go in your notes, though, because you don't need all of example 5 and all of example 6 in your notes. Okay, what I want you to write down is just number 5, and then put b equals 2. That's what I want you to have in your notes for right now. So next to number 5, just put b equals 2. Now, in this one it says write the equation for and graph the line parallel to the line shown, but we want the given y-intercept. So we want it to be parallel to this line, but we want the y-intercept to be 2. I am not going to make you graph in your notes. But on your homework, you will have to graph. So as far as your notes go, you can just concentrate on writing the equation. But on your homework, you will have to do both parts. You'll have to write the equation and graph the line, so make sure you're following along with me so you know how to do it. All right, so concentrating on just writing the equation, what are the 2 things I need? An m and a b. I already have a b. How am I going to get an m? When you're given a graph, how do you find the m? Rise over run. You should be writing everything I'm writing in your notes.
Rise over what?
Rise over run. Okay, so to find rise over run given a graph, pick 2 points. 2 places where the graph is on a definite ordered pair. So right where it's like in like the crosshairs of the graph, pick 2 of those. And then count the rise over the run. How far would I rise to go from here to here? Up 1 over 1. So my rise is 1, my run is 1. So what is my equation? Very good. Y equals 1 over 1x plus 2. That is as far as you need to go in your notes. So once you have that down, you can just put your pencils down and listen to what I'm about to do. The directions say that we want to graph that line. I want you to graph the line on the exact same graph that the problem was given. That way you can see if you did it right, because they won't intersect. If they are intersecting, they're not parallel, you need to start over. So it's really easy to see if you did it right when you graph them on the same coordinate plane. So, how am I going to graph this? Where do I start? You don't start with the m. When you're graphing something, what do you start with? The b. So you want to go to the 2 on the y-axis and you want to put a point. From that point, what are you going to do? Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. That gives you your slope of 1 over 1. That's what makes these lines parallel. Do you see how these lines are running side by side and they will never intersect? They will never intersect because they have the same slope. As one is rising 1 and running 1, the other's rising 1 and running 1, so they will never run into each other. What are your questions on number 5? So in your notes, you need number 6, and you need that b equals -4. The rest we'll do together, and then I'll do the graphing on the board while you just hang out and listen. So I need 2 things. I need b, I already have b, and I need m. How am I going to find m? Rise over run. So looking at the graph that was provided, pick 2 points that you're sure are whole number ordered pairs and put dots there. Now, count your rise over your run.
I got a dog.
That's just a video that the class next to us is watching, but thanks for ruining my video. Okay, from here to here, what do?
Go down.
I go down 1, so I rise a negative number because I'm going down, so -1, and then what?
Over
Right.
2.
Over 2. So my slope here is -1/2.
I thought we was going up.
If you go, hold on, this is a good question. If you go from here to here, you'd go up 1, but then you'd go which direction? Left, and left is a negative. So if you go up 1, you'll go left 2, so you'd have 1 over -2. It's the same thing. Remember, down and left are negative. So either way, no matter how you do it, one of your numbers should be negative, but not both. Because you're either going down and right, or you're going up and left. All right, so my equation here is y equals -1 over 2x minus 4. As far as your notes go, you are done with this problem. But on the board, I want to finish it with the graph. So how would I graph this? Where would I start? How would I do this?
Oh, you go to -4?
Yeah, you go to -4 on your y-axis. Your b tells you where to start. So start at the -4.
Down 1 over 2.
You go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Or if you have the 1 as positive and the 2 as negative, you would be going up 1, left 2. Do you see how that gives us the same line? Once you connect them, it shouldn't matter if you're going up and left or if you're going down and right. Okay, so draw your graph and connect them. Then double check that your lines are truly parallel. These are never going to run into each other because they have the same slope. What questions do you guys have on this? So, quiet down. We're going to start your homework together. We're going to start on number 7, though, because you didn't have a chance to do one of these totally in your homework. So let's do the whole thing together, and then I'll let you do 8 on your own. Notice in the directions, it says to write the equation 4 and graph the line. So it's like 2 problems in one. Okay? So I already have b right here. B is -2. I still need the m before I can write the equation. How do I find m? Rise over run. So you got to pick 2 points that you know for sure are whole number ordered pairs. Then I'm going to do my rise and my run. What would my rise be? -1. What would my run be? Right 1. So -1 over 1. Now, if you did it backwards, that's fine. You would go up 1 and left 1. So if your bottom 1 is negative, the top 1 needs to be positive. One of these ones needs to be a -1. Does that make sense? Lots of ones in one sentence.
You have to go down.
You can either go down and right or you can go up and left. It should not matter. So what is my equation? This is the important part. My equation is
Y equals -1 x
plus -2 or just -2. So this is my equation. That's half the work. The other half is to graph that. How would I graph that equation?
Go down to negative.
Start at the -2 on the y-axis and then do what?
You
down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Or if you did it the other way, you'd go up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. Either way, when you connect it, you should be getting the same line. Now, is that line going to intersect with the line I was given? No. The answer should be no. They should be parallel lines that never intersect. If you're getting something like, if those are your two lines, you did it wrong, okay? They should never intersect because they have the same slope. Yeah. What are your questions? You are doing 1 through 6 and 8 for your homework.